Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today's gonna be a little bit different, but I haven't been done in a lot of a men's world, and I kind of want to do a video on it, so that's what I'm gonna do. And this is gonna kind of hit home for a few people. This may not hit home for others. This will mostly hit home, I would say, for guys, women, I don't know because it's going actively against you, but we're not on this channel. I don't really, especially when I do this type of segments, I don't really care for that hitting home with everybody type of deal. I just want to spread out truths, my own opinions, and kind of see exactly how it goes. So, there's not really an article, but this is just my opinions being stated, or rather, what I personally think on how things should be, done, fixed, etc., etc. So, I think there should not be child support. And let me break it down onto the reasons why. Whenever you get child support, it's normally not a good thing because you're paying for a kid that you're already taking care of, right? So you get the child and you're buying him stuff or her stuff. And on top of that, you also have to be paying X amount of child support or whatever to the kids or what have you. And of course this is based down to states and depending, but you have to see on like how much you owe, etc., etc. So it's really just a way of robbing a man's money rather than and not making a woman accountable for any of her actions or for the guys that she can actually potentially sleep with, right? So let me go with a few things here that I have that kind of shows exactly what I'm talking about here. All right. So here we have is a Georgia Schedule Basic Child Support Obligations. Now, granted, this is going to differentiate between states, obviously. So when we go here specifically and we try to talk about all the like child support or whatever, it's going to differentiate between what state you're in, etc., or even country for that matter. But here we have is that one child is and this is also combined with like adjusted gross income. So the more money you make, the more money you obviously pay. So if we go with the lowest amount of money, which is the $800, you for one child is $197, two children is $283, three children is $330, four children is $367, four children is $404, and six children is $440. Now, if I am reading this correctly, it sounds like you are paying half of your gross income of the six children, right? When you have six children, which is $440, so that's a little bit over your average amount of gross income, and it's not bad when you have one child, but it gets significantly worse the more children you have, obviously, and then of course it goes up and up. And this is a huge problem because I don't think that you should have to pay this amount of money. And I don't think the mom should have to pay the money either, but it's mostly the men paying it anyways. So, what I'm getting at here is that we have this type of thing here to where men are paying this an insane amount of money for children that they shouldn't have to necessarily pay child support for, because they're, as long as they're taking care of your child, getting them clothes and stuff like that, I believe that, and they're actually taking care of the child, then I believe that they should not have to do any sort of child support. It's only when I think if they're not doing anything at all is where they shouldn't pay child support. But again, I don't like child support because it makes the man have to pay something, or a woman rather, but it's, again, like I said, the majority is men, to having to pay something that they shouldn't have to pay for. Because women shouldn't have to give handouts of money to people. And not only that, is that the child support, for when women get it, we don't have any way to calculate or determine on what that money is being used for. It could be used for fucking really anything at all. And that being said, we don't know if that money is legitimate or whether that money is going to be using for the said child. It could be using on her. I know there were women that were using my brother's child support for nails and hair parlors and stuff like that, and not actually use it on the children. If you're doing stuff like that, and it's not actually child support at that point, it's youth support, and that's sickening. So if we remove this fact, not only will it make women be actually more accountable for the fact that they can't just have children with whatever they want because they're punished for it if they do, then that also removes the fact that more kids may have more stable households because women will have to be careful on who they date or who they marry, because that's accountability for you. And because their government's going to come in and help them and bail them out once they have kids. Because there will also be women that will use it nefariously and try to get have a kid with a guy and then leave, and then the guy is forced to pay child support because, of course, they're incredibly biased towards men. We already know this. So if we move on to something, a bit more, I would say, huge here, which would be this: the changing profile of unmarried parents. Now, this is just pretty much getting a rough estimate of 1 in 4 U.S. parents are unmarried, and that this is just kind of showing like the single moms and all this other stuff, to where this is a huge problem, because now you would have women specifically this is growing, mind you, that single moms are on the rise, and that the moms can really just extort the man's resources and just get child support, and that's a huge problem. Now, if we go into something like this, to where the government offers a number of financial grants for low-income single parents to help pay for things like food, housing, and childcare. Temporary assistance for needs families, TNF, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services offers temporary cash and food assistance for single low-income mothers. Many low-income women who are pregnant or have children under the age of 5 can get financial assistance through this program. It is run by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. To qualify for assistance, you must meet certain criteria that vary based on the program and that you vary in the state where you live. To apply, you usually need your ID, information about your income, proof of your residence, ID, bills mailed to you, past due bills, information about your kids, including birth certificates. And there's even scholarships for single moms. If you're raising a little one or two on your own, getting a degree on your top of your many other responsibilities can be daunting in terms of both time and money, especially with the cost of college skyrocketing. Still, you know that going back to school can help you raise your income, increase your job security, and meet your career goals. And all this stuff right here, which we'll go over. Society of Women Engineers scholarships, or if you're pursuing an engineering degree, awards that will range from $1,000 to $20,000 each. And then you have some that are going for the Meek education, which is $5,000 each, $20,000 per year, or less than $24,000 per year as a family, or 3. Then you have more of this, which is students between $2,000 and $10,000 for education. Then you have the PEO program for continuing education is $3,000, and then you have the Pell Grants, which is up to $6,000, and all this other stuff, which is $104,000 a year from the federal government. And it goes on and on and on. See, you have even the teacher's assistance for college and higher education, grants up to $4,000 per year. And then you have the American Association of University Women Career Development Grant. Can offer you $2,000 to $12,000 if you already have an undergraduate degree. So, in Natural League of American Pen Women, Shirley Holden Heidelberg grant for the mature women offers grants of $1,000 if you're over the age of 35. And housing for single moms, and vouchers, food assistance for single moms, affordable health insurance for single moms. Look at all these things for single moms and all this stuff that is actively making women not be punishable or not have to face the consequences for their actions when they go and get pregnant. They have all these grants and protections for the women that they can go out and do all this stuff, get money for it, and sit on their ass and do it. There was a woman, maybe the TikTok that went viral, where a woman was actively sitting on food stamps and wanting a guy to take it to get money to buy all the food for her children, even though she's literally being 304 and being a German Shepherd, and she's actively fucked 4 different guys and got pregnant from 4 different guys. That's not his kids. So, I mean, Again, we see the problem here to where these women are actively not being punished for the situations. This is a huge problem in the black community specifically, but it's a problem across the entire state. Now we have stuff like this, to where of the 400,000 people in the United States receiving post-divorce spousal maintenance, just 3% were men, according to the census figures. Yet 40% of households are headed by female breadwinners, suggesting that hundreds of thousands of men are eligible for alimony yet don't receive it. So again, the women are making hands over fist over actual type of money, to where they can make so much money for just sitting on their ass doing pretty much nothing, and the men are literally getting hosed for it. Granted, they did say single parents, right? So they said something about single parents. But let's be honest. When we go to single parents, we're talking about, pretty much everybody, right? So let's go to the other statistic here, to where, single parents and all that is kind of like a big deal. So we go with the single parents here, and then this is some of the things that I see as being a huge issue, and we go here to where this is the problem that we have. The report states that 30% of DNA paternity tests nationwide turn out negative. The tidal wave of outrage at this report's findings, starting out as a rather small ripple, but has grown bigger and bigger in the 17 years since, and with good reason. So when we have this, we have single mothers actively just causing problems. Women are actively getting X amount of money for being, essentially just getting pregnant and leaving. Until we fix these problems, women are not going to be held accountable for any of these issues, and they can actively go get pregnant, leave the man, get child support, and then they can get assistance for scholarships for moms if they're doing any type of work, housing, food assistance, affordable health insurance. Like, all these things here is for single moms. All these things are what single moms are actually benefiting from, and they don't have to do much of anything. So until these things fix themselves, we have a huge problem. And then this is the reason why I don't want child support, because the women get so many of these things that helps them raise these kids, which is not necessarily a problem. But if we say, for instance, we remove all these government funds and this stuff, like things of the sort, then if we remove all this stuff, guess what happens? Women can't just go out and get pregnant whenever they want, because they have to face the repercussions of they won't get help by the government if they get pregnant and they have a kid, and then two, they can't just go out and get pregnant because they won't receive actual any type of child support. So if we do something like that, then guess what? You'll probably see a lot less fucking you will see less abortions. Well, you may see more abortions, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But you'll see you'll at least try to see at the very least less pregnancies and more actual households being together, because it would emphasize women having being responsible for themselves. Even though that's really hard for them to do, it just makes them have to be responsible. And cutting off, I would say, child support is the first biggest thing we should do, and then deal with the other problems later. But right now, child support is the biggest issue, because I think that will fix a huge problem. And after that, we can go on with whatever other stuff that needs to be fixed. But that's my opinion on child support and why I think it should just be abolished. I don't think it's fair for men at all. So, yeah. Like, subscribe, share, guys. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.